The Watchmaker's Paradox. Daniel found the watch at an estate sale on a grey Saturday morning. He wasn't looking for anything in particular, just browsing through the detritus of someone's life spread across folding tables in a garage that smelled of mothballs and regret. Most of it was junk, chipped dishes, outdated electronics, books no one wanted. But the watch caught his eye. It was a pocket watch, silver with intricate engravings of clockwork on its case. Beautiful craftsmanship, probably worth more than the $5 price tag stuck to its chain. Daniel picked it up and flipped it open. The watch face was unusual. Instead of moving forward, the hands were running backward. Not slowly, they were moving at normal speed, just in reverse. The second hand swept counterclockwise. The minute hand crept the wrong direction. "That one's broken," the woman running the sale said. She was perhaps 70, surrounded by what Daniel assumed were her late husband's belongings. Runs backward. My husband tried to fix it for years, said it was a family heirloom from his grandfather. Never could get it to work properly. "I'll take it anyway," Daniel said, charmed by the defective timepiece. The woman rang it up, and as she handed him his change, she added quietly, "Be careful with that watch. My husband, he became obsessed with it near the end. Said it showed him things that had happened." Daniel thanked her and pocketed the watch, dismissing her warning as the rambling of grief. That evening, he wound the watch. Old pocket watches needed winding, and held it to his ear. Instead of the familiar forward tick, it made a soft, backward talk. He opened it again, watching the hands sweep the wrong direction, and laughed at the absurdity of it. Then he looked at the time it showed, 2:47 p.m. It was currently 8:13 p.m., so the watch was showing. Daniel did the math. 5 hours and 26 minutes ago, mid-afternoon. He was about to set it aside when a memory hit him with unexpected force. Not a vague recollection, but a vivid, clear vision of exactly what he'd been doing at 2:47 that afternoon. He'd been arguing with Sarah, his girlfriend, about something stupid, whose turn it was to do dishes. But the argument had escalated, as their arguments lately did, until they were both saying things designed to hurt rather than resolve. And in this memory, this vision the watch somehow triggered, Daniel saw himself clearly, saw the exact moment Sarah's face had shifted from anger to hurt, saw the words that had done it. "You're just like your mother, always nagging about nothing." He'd regretted it immediately, but hadn't apologized, had let his pride keep the words hanging there, doing damage. Daniel blinked, and the vision faded. He was standing in his kitchen, holding a pocket watch that ran backward, his heart racing. That was strange, unsettling. But maybe he'd just been thinking about the argument anyway, and the watch had triggered the memory. Nothing supernatural about remembering something from earlier in the day. He set the watch on his nightstand and tried to forget about it. But the next morning, curiosity drew him back. He picked up the watch. It now showed 11:32 p.m. last night, and the moment he looked at it, he remembered. He'd lain in bed, unable to sleep, thinking about Sarah, about how their relationship had become a series of small cuts, neither of them willing to address the bigger wounds beneath, about how he'd been thinking of ending it, but was too comfortable, too afraid of being alone to actually leave. The watch showed him his own cowardice, his own half-commitment to a relationship that was slowly dying. Daniel called Sarah, apologized for yesterday, really apologized, explaining what he should have explained during the fight instead of getting defensive. They talked for an hour, actually communicating instead of defending. It felt like progress, like maybe the watch, whatever it was, had given him useful perspective. He started checking the watch daily. It kept running backward, showing him moments from his recent past with perfect clarity. not changing them, just revealing them, letting him see his actions from outside himself, understanding their impact in ways he'd missed while actually living them. He became a better boyfriend, a better friend, a better employee. The watch showed him his mistakes in time for him to fix them, to apologize, to do better. But the watch kept running backward. Days became weeks, became months. The further back it ran, the further it showed him into his past, and Daniel couldn't stop himself from looking. He saw his father's death 5 years ago. The last conversation they'd had, which Daniel had barely remembered, played out with painful clarity. They talked about baseball, about weather, about nothing important. Daniel had kept it surface level because addressing the years of distance between them felt too hard. And then his father had died 2 days later, and all those unspoken things, the resentments from Daniel's teenage years, the disappointment Daniel felt that his father had never really understood him, the love that neither of them knew how to express, remained unspoken forever. The watch showed Daniel the exact moment he could have said something real, could have bridged that gap, and hadn't. He couldn't fix it now, couldn't call his father and have that conversation. The watch showed him the past, but gave him no way to change it. Daniel became obsessed. The watch ran further backward, showing him his wedding day to his ex-wife Jennifer, showed him the moment their marriage had started dying, a fight about moving for her job that revealed fundamental differences in what they wanted from life. He saw chances he'd had to save the marriage, saw moments where he'd chosen pride over vulnerability, anger over understanding, saw the slow accumulation of small failures that had led to divorce. And he couldn't fix any of it, could only watch as the watch catalogued his failures in reverse, showing him exactly what he'd done wrong and exactly why it mattered. Daniel stopped eating regularly, stopped sleeping more than a few hours, just watched the past unfold in reverse, cataloguing his mistakes, his cruelties, his moments of cowardice and selfishness. Sarah found him 3 days later, gaunt and hollow-eyed, the watch clutched in his shaking hand. "Daniel, what's happening? You've barely answered my calls. You look terrible." "I can see it all," Daniel whispered. "Everything I did wrong, every chance I missed, every person I hurt. The watch, it shows me everything." Sarah took the watch from his hand, looked at it, then at him. "It only runs backward. Only backward. Can't change anything. Just have to see it all, have to know what I did, then stop looking." Sarah moved toward the window. "No, I need it. Need to see my mistakes so I don't repeat them. You already learned, Daniel. You've been different for months. Kinder, more thoughtful, more present. But this," she gestured at him, "this isn't learning. This is torture." She opened the window. "What are you doing?" "Saving you from yourself." Sarah threw the watch out the window. Daniel heard it shatter on the pavement 3 stories below. "No!" He lunged toward the window, but Sarah held him. "It was killing you. You can't live in reverse. You can't spend all your time looking backward." Daniel collapsed against her, sobbing. "But I needed to learn. Needed to see my mistakes." "You did see them. You did learn. But the past is meant to teach you, not trap you. You don't honor your father by endlessly replaying the conversation you didn't have. You honor him by being better now, by having real conversations with people while you still can." Sarah held him while he cried, and slowly Daniel understood. The watch had shown him truth, painful, necessary, truth about his mistakes and failures. But truth without the ability to change it had become poison. He'd learned what he needed to learn. Now he had to let go. Over the following weeks, Daniel grieved the watch, grieved the ability to see his past with perfect clarity. But gradually he realized Sarah was right. He didn't need the watch anymore. He'd internalized its lessons. Be present. Be kind. Fix mistakes while they can still be fixed. Have real conversations. Don't let things fester. And most importantly, you can't change the past, no matter how clearly you see it. You can only learn from it and do better going forward. Daniel started writing letters to people he'd hurt, not asking for forgiveness, just acknowledging the harm he'd done, expressing regret, making amends where possible. He visited his father's grave and said what he should have said 5 years ago, not to change anything. His father was beyond hearing, but to put the words into the world, to honor the relationship they should have had. He reached out to Jennifer, his ex-wife, not to restart the marriage, but to apologize for the ways he'd failed her, to acknowledge his part in their ending. And he stayed present with Sarah, really present, not looking backward or forward, just being there in each moment as it happened. He made new mistakes, said things he regretted, had arguments, but he also apologized quickly, communicated better, stayed vulnerable, even when vulnerability was scary. He learned to live forward instead of backward. Years later, at another estate sale, Daniel saw a different pocket watch. This one ran forward, not showing the present time, but time in the future. He picked it up, felt its weight, imagined what it might show him. Then he set it back down and walked away. The future, like the past, wasn't meant to be known with certainty. Life was meant to be lived in the present, informed by history, but not trapped by it. Hopeful about tomorrow, but not obsessed with controlling it. That was the watchmaker's paradox. We spend most of our lives looking the wrong direction, looking backward with regret or forward with anxiety, missing the only moment we actually have, this one, right now. Daniel had learned to look at the present, to be here, to engage with what was actually happening instead of what had happened or might happen. And that made him better than any watch, magical or mundane, could ever make him. He went home to Sarah. They made dinner together. They talked about their days. They laughed at a show they were watching. They went to bed in each other's arms. All of it present, all of it real, all of it lived forward instead of backward, experienced instead of observed. The past had taught him, but the present was where he lived. And that was enough, more than enough. Daniel never saw another backward watch, never needed to. He carried its lessons without needing the object itself. Learn from the past, live in the present, and let the future arrive in its own time. Simple wisdom, hard to practice, but worth the effort, because time only moves one direction, and life is too short to spend it looking backward, cataloging regrets, replaying conversations you can't change. Better to look at now, at this moment, at the person in front of you, at the life you're actually living, instead of the one you lived or the one you might live. That was the paradox resolved. The watch that ran backward had taught Daniel to move forward. And in teaching him that, it had given him the greatest gift: presence. The ability to be here now, fully engaged with whatever this moment held. Not perfect, not without mistakes, but present. And presence, Daniel learned, was worth more than any amount of hindsight.